They never yield. That's how Fareed Zakaria described China's mindset in the trade war. But here's the thing. When you're facing off against Donald Trump, is never yielding a power move or a slow-motion disaster? China played the long game. Patience, endurance, strategic silence. They thought that was the winning formula. But Trump? He didn't just play a different game. He threw the whole playbook out the window and started from scratch. In this video, we're diving into what Zakaria really meant, how Trump turned China's patience into a liability, and why never backing down might have cost China more than it ever imagined. What happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force? According to Fareed Zakaria, China's entire diplomatic DNA is built on one belief: never yield, no matter what. They believe that if they stand still long enough, the other side will blink first. That's how they've played politics for decades. And to be fair, it's worked. Just not this time. Because then came Trump. Trump didn't flinch. He didn't dance around sensitive topics or worry about offending Beijing. He looked straight into the camera, called out their trade practices and said, "We're done playing." Nice. Suddenly, China's strategic patience ran into something it hadn't faced before. A US president who treated trade like a boxing match, not a negotiation. One who actually punched back. Zakaria tried to frame China's posture as calm and strategic. But what if that calm is really just stubbornness disguised as strength? And what if Trump wasn't reckless, but ready? This wasn't some scripted performance. This was a man who walked into the ring and threw the first punch with full confidence they wouldn't throw back. And when they tried, he hit harder.
All right, Fareed Zakaria is out front now, the host of Fareed Zakaria GPS. So, Fareed, while Will was reporting, and Will and I on this show together so many times, and most of his reports go to Bars and Tone in China. Most of the time they censor them. They did not censor this. A report about a potential invasion of Taiwan, beginning with a U.S. general saying that they are not practicing, that they are literally rehearsing, that these aren't drills.
Okay, but what happens when time stops working in your favor? China thought the US would fold like usual. But Trump didn't blink, and suddenly, their patience turned into economic bleeding. Trump didn't just challenge the game, he rewrote the rules. When both sides refuse to back down, only the one with leverage walks away smiling. What happens when patience turns into pain? At first, China brushed off the tariffs like mosquito bites. Official state media downplayed the impact. "We are stable," they said. "Our economy is resilient." But reality didn't get the memo. Behind the scenes, factories started closing. Foreign companies froze investment. Supply chains got messy. Small businesses in Guangdong and Shandong struggling. American tariffs weren't just symbolic. They were slicing deep into the backbone of China's export economy. Foreign investors started shifting operations to Vietnam, India, and elsewhere. The message? If you can't play fair, we'll play elsewhere. China's tech sector, once untouchable, got hit too. US restrictions on Huawei, sanctions, chip bans. Suddenly, their dreams of tech domination looked more like smoke than fire. And then came the yuan devaluation. Beijing had to step in just to stabilize the currency. Every move became damage control. And the longer they held their never yield pose, the more the world watched them bleed.
Smartphones and computers will now be exempt from US President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs on China. The tariffs would have a major impact on tech giants such as Apple, as the majority of its phones are produced in China. US tech companies were concerned the price of electronics could have skyrocketed in response to the 125% levies on Chinese imports.
This wasn't just some squabble over soybeans. Trump went straight for the jugular, where it hurt most: manufacturing, tech, foreign capital. The media painted him like a cowboy with tariffs. But guess what? That cowboy knew exactly where to aim. And China? They stood tall. Until their legs gave out. Never yield sounds brave. Until the economy does exactly that. What happens when America stops playing solo? While China banked on dragging things out, Trump took the show global. He didn't just hit China, he started flipping the world. Japan, the UK, even parts of the EU started nodding along with the tough stance. He struck deals with South Korea, renegotiated NAFTA into USMCA, pressured NATO to pay up. This wasn't just trade war, it was trade chess. And every move made China's isolation more obvious. Even Australia started restricting Chinese tech firms. India took border tensions up a notch. The world didn't just watch Trump, it started moving with him.
And leaders from the group of 20 major economies paid much attention to multilateral trading system this year, as President-elect Trump is set to return to the White House in the coming months. Our Lee Soo-jin explains more.
In a few moments,
Leaders of the G20 economies are striving to strengthen a multilateral consensus as they prepare to grapple with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's protectionist policies.
Trump didn't beg the world for approval. He acted, and the world reacted. Suddenly, it wasn't just the US versus China. It was the world holding China accountable. That's not isolationism. That's leverage. You know you're losing the game when your rivals start clapping for your opponent. What happens when the experts start to backpedal? Fareed Zakaria has always been the calm guy with a tie and a thesaurus. But lately, you can hear the hesitation, the concern, the well, maybe we underestimated this. In recent segments, even, Zakaria started to admit that China's refusal to yield might have created a bigger mess than they expected. Economic slowdown, global pushback, diplomatic fatigue, and that's what happens when theory meets reality. You can write all the op-eds you want, but when Trump slaps a tariff on your assumptions, things get real. Zakaria was out here narrating a chess match. Trump flipped the board. And now even Fareed's like, wait, did the queen just get checkmated? Even the smartest pundits get nervous when reality doesn't follow the script. What happens when the crowd starts clapping? Social media lit up with memes of Trump riding a tariff rocket straight over the Great Wall. Hashtags like Tariff Time and China Folded started trending. Even celebrities who usually stayed quiet on trade were like, wait. Trump might have nailed this one? TikTokers posted breakdowns with stats. Twitter economists were suddenly Team Trump. Conservative commentators said, "We told you so," while moderate ones awkwardly sipped tea.
So, if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So, 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing.
You know it's real when meme lords and market analysts are on the same page. This isn't just tough talk, it's a scoreboard. And Trump just racked up points. Sometimes the loudest victory isn't a headline. It's a meme with 2 million views. So now we ask, was never yield strength? Or just stubbornness in a shiny package? China tried to outlast. Trump outmaneuvered. And in the end, maybe the strongest move wasn't silence. It was knowing exactly when to strike. Subscribe for more breakdowns that go beyond the headlines. Comment your take. Do you think China overplayed their hand? Hit the bell before the next round starts.